Hey guys, my name's Rob and I'm in recovery from a gambling addiction. I made my last bet November the 12th of 2022 and I'm making this video to tell you about my gambling addiction story. It's been about a year and a half since I made one of these, and it was actually also in a car, which is why I'm doing it now. Things have gotten a little bit better on the YouTube channel since then, so you probably haven't seen me talking to just my iPhone in a car in, a very long time. But I wanted to share a bit about my story, a bit deeper than I've shared before, because last time I told it, it felt rushed in a way. I really wanted to lay it out and let you understand what I've been through so that you know that what I talk about on this channel is coming from a good place. And it's coming from a place where I want to see you avoid going down the same path that I did. There's not going to be any fancy editing. I'm going to just get to the point. I'm going to tell you what I went through. Started gambling when I was 18 years old with daily fantasy sports, but before then, I found myself betting on hockey games, playing in the streets against my little brother, or betting with friends on a game of basketball, little wagers here and there. It was always a part of my life. But once I was 18 and I could bet on the sports that I loved to watch with my friends and family, like the Phillies games, Sixers games, go Jared McCain, Eagles, Flyers, these kinds of things, it was a no-brainer. I was going to put money on it. The 7 o'clock games and the 10 o'clock games weren't enough. I was gambling with a bookie. And as soon as I moved away to school, I was gambling on a site called Bovada, where I was actually taking all the money that I had from the jobs I was working at the time, which again wasn't too much, but I was putting it all on the games that I was watching. So that was when Kevin Durant was on the Warriors, and I was betting on that. It was every single player prop I could get my hands on. I loved rebound props. That's how ridiculous my gambling was getting, that I cared about rebounds more than I cared about the end results of games. If you can relate to that, you're probably addicted to gambling too by this point, but that's exactly why I'm here sharing this story, so that you don't do the same things that I did. I'd reached a point in my life already as a 19-year-old where I was dipping into debt in order to finance my gambling. When I was playing with the bookie, I had a credit system, and I found myself down way too much money, more than I could afford to pay back. It wasn't millions of dollars like they'll tell you in the news headlines, but it was enough that I was putting myself in a situation where I had to work a second job in order to pay it off. And people always ask me, why don't I share the amount of money that I lost gambling? I could tell you with decent certainty. But the truth is, if I tell you a number and it's more than what you lost and you're a problem gambler, do you know what you're going to tell yourself? Oh, I'm not as bad as he is. I can keep going. So I never talk about it, not because I'm embarrassed, but because I have to think, do I want clickbait or do I want to make a difference with what I'm saying? So I choose to make a difference if I can. Over the course of the 6 years that I was gambling, many different things happened, none of them too positive. As I was going into debt with the bookie and then paying it off with money that I was borrowing from my family or money I was getting working 2 jobs, I found myself in a situation where I was always working to pay off gambling debts, then gambling to try to avoid working, and then just continuing to end up working more. I was miserable, but I was telling myself that I was just unlucky, that I would figure it out, that I would find a way to win. And at this time, it was all sports betting, right? That's when I got started with poker online too, and then blackjack, and then casino games. And I found myself gambling on everything by the time I was 21. I was 21 during the pandemic. I was home all day, gambling with a stimulus check that I got somehow for being unemployed, which technically I was. I qualified for about $18 worth of unemployment and then got a $600 a week boost. So all of that money was just disposable income living at home, and I put it all towards gambling. I put everything that I could into my sports betting and casino apps, chasing after a big win. When I'd have big wins, it would never be enough to satisfy me. I would just want to win bigger. I was convinced that if I had a good streak of luck, I would never have to work a job. I could retire, I could travel the world, I could be this great, happy person filled with just joy that I didn't have to be like everyone else. And then I'd lose it all, and I'd repeat the cycle. The first time that I woke up and I said, what the hell are you really doing, man? Without making some excuse, without just saying, you lost money because you were unlucky. You lost money because this player should have made this shot. I was in Paris. I had a win, and I used the money to buy a plane ticket. And when I was there, I had always told myself, You're doing this so you can travel the world, do whatever you want, fly wherever you want, be this big shot. And within 2 hours of landing in that country, I was spinning slots on the toilet in the bathroom of the hotel. And I said, what the hell are you doing? Now, it didn't stop me. I kept going and I lost everything I had, borrowed money from friends, called friends asking for money to survive on this trip that I had planned for myself, now with nothing left because I spun it all away on the toilet. But I said, what the hell are you doing? Why are you really doing this? Because you said it was to travel. You've traveled, but you're still gambling. You said it's to be this rich big shot without any concerns or any job that you have to follow. You did that, or you felt that way at least, and you're still gambling. Why are you doing this? That's when I realized I needed help. I didn't realize I was a gambling addict because of money that I lost. I didn't realize I was a gambling addict because I was gambling for 8 hours a day every day. I realized it because I finally questioned, why am I gambling? And if you're watching this video, that's what I urge you to do, because there's a decent chance you're not addicted to gambling. There's a decent chance you're just someone who gambles for fun, or you think you're a great gambler and you're enjoying it right now. But ask yourself why. And if the answer is something other than entertainment, I can tell you with confidence you're playing with fire. And if things go too far, you might end up like me. What happened to me? Well, over the course of the 6 years I was gambling, I went into debt 6 separate times to the point where I was working 80-hour weeks for numerous months to pay back that debt. In the beginning, those jobs were working as a Chinese food driver and a pizza driver. By the end, I was a financial analyst at a hospital and a bartender. I was earning a salary that would have been top 5% in the country, maybe top 10%. All of it gone, squandered, right into gambling, trying to get a big win, to be rich, to feel good, to feel comfortable. I used gambling as a sense of purpose, a way to identify myself, to be the gambler, to be the guy that was respected, that was loved, that didn't have to do what everyone else did. But all through the time I was trying to accomplish that, I was ruining relationships, not working hard at my job, not working hard at school, living a shell of the life I deserved, gaining weight, losing my mental health, losing my sanity, losing sleep, to get the big win that would solve all the problems in my life. I thought gambling would solve everything, but gambling was causing everything, or at least, it was the means by which I was causing everything as an addict. It was just my drug of choice. I thought that you couldn't be addicted to gambling. I thought I was a bad gambler, or I was an unlucky gambler. Once I went into a support group meeting for the very first time, a Gamblers Anonymous meeting, I recognized something very important. There are millions of people out there, millions, struggling with a gambling problem of some nature. If you're watching this video right now and you've made it this far in, you could be one, or you could know one. Gambling is growing massively in the United States. And it's impacting me, it's impacting you, it's impacting everyone we love. We can't go anywhere nowadays without seeing it. It's going to be around us for the foreseeable future. And until some regulation comes in, it's going to continue to cause a lot of harm. Are you struggling? Is someone you love going through something? You might not even know. You might be telling yourself it's one thing, when in reality it could be another. You might be saying, I was unlucky this week, not thinking about the fact that you've done this for 50 weeks in a row. You might be saying, I can fix this with one big win, not realizing that every time you have a big win, you just cause bigger problems. Gambling addiction is real, and I went through it, and I'm going through it. I'm going through recovery. It might be 2 years since I made my last bet, but I can remember it like it was yesterday. It was a 12-hour gambling binge where I maxed out a credit card, and I put myself into debt for 6 months, working 80 hours a week at my full-time job and my part-time job. Again. I remember standing in the bathroom, holding all of the cash from that cash advance, feeling wealthy. Then being concerned that I dropped some of it in the casino. And I laughed. Do you know why I laughed when I thought I dropped thousands of dollars in cash? Because I knew I was going to lose it anyway. And that if I dropped that money, at least someone might have a good day as a result of my pain that wasn't an owner of a casino for the first time in a long time. I've gotten myself on a better path, and I focus on 4 key things to stay away from gambling. I'll briefly talk about them. I limited my access to financial resources that were going to tempt me. When I first quit, my family controlled my bank account. Having access to that card made me tempted to gamble it online. I self-excluded from the casinos to make it difficult to access. I started going to support group meetings because I found out that I wasn't the only person suffering with this problem. And I had to find something I care about. And what I care about is this content. It's you. I get a lot of benefit in my own recovery by coming on here and sharing my story. And I'm going to continue to do it every single day. Hit that subscribe button if you want to join me on this journey to living a happier and healthier life. I'm trying to spread awareness that gambling addiction is real, and if you are someone that's struggling, I'm here to help you. If you're not yet struggling, then come and learn from my story. If you want to hear another story of gambling addiction, then check out this interview I did with my friend Christina, where she shared her story. And let's keep getting better together, one day at a time.